Good morning. It's been a while since we've connected with all these public holidays. But welcome to our lenses session. Just want to welcome everyone on the replay as well. I know there's a few of you that has let me know that they've got work in the morning and they can't join. I know Natalie now starts her new job, so she won't be able to join in the mornings, but we'll be doing the replays, which is great. So hello. So just want to open this space, call upon the greatness of your being to be present, be here, and set your intention for the week ahead. Another week, another opportunity to step into your higher power and fully embody and embrace the version of yourself that lives your true nature and purpose, that lives as a predominant creative force, living the life that you love in this incredible, healthy and vital physical body that we get to express our spirit through. So I love to open up this circle with our wins and our challenges for the week just gone. So I just want you to reflect, have a moment of reflection on the week just gone. What did you live your ideal average week? What are some of the wins that you had last week? What areas are you really proud of? Did you really exceed in? And what are some of the challenges that you experienced? So are there any areas that you feel like you could have improved, that you can improve this week? Are there any areas that really challenged you and pushed you out of your comfort zone? And how did you move through that? Just a bit of self-reflection on how the week has gone. I had the most incredible breath work, sound journey, cacao ceremony and the full moon on Saturday down on the Gold Coast, and it was just the most amazing experience. If you haven't done breath work and sound journeys before, I highly recommend finding a local one near you. And it really brings you back to the simplicity of life and the simplicity of the breath and how powerful our breath can be. I just through a guided breath work experience, I got to experience this, the soul and the vibration that is the spirit within your entire body. You know, I walked out of there like a walking orgasm. It was a full body experience. It was just like everything was tingling and vibrating, and I could feel every single part of me. Not sure if anyone's experienced DMT before, but I got to that place through the breath. So it was a DMT breath.
What was that like?
It was incredible. It was like I could feel my spirit inside of me. It was like being filled up with soul goodness. It's hard to explain. It was just like being completely immersed in this beautiful frequency vibration, and it was literally like my whole body was vibrating, and setting my intention at the start, I 100% achieved that and embodied my intention. And that just reminds me how important it is to live your life intentionally and purposely. And you know, every morning is an opportunity to reset and choose how you want your day to go and how you choose to feel, even if you're feeling a little bit crappy. Setting your intention, just being more intentional, even before each task that you've got on for the day, before a walk, before a shower, before you do all meet someone, meet up with a client, or have a phone call, or write an email, whatever it is, setting your intention for that, and just checking in, taking a few moments to check in, what's my intention, and how am I feeling? The smallest things, we know it. We know living consciously is around setting an intention and being conscious about what we're saying and we're doing, and part of that is, it's really simple, but it's difficult to do, right? Because our life gets so busy, and we forget to do this, and we forget to set an intention, we forget to do that. So setting up yourself some anti-failure structures, so that setting an alarm, or just getting into the practice and the routine of being more intentional and setting an intention, because that's the energy that you're planting. And usually, if it's planted with detachment of the outcome, you find that you experience that intention, you complete it. More often than not, we get that, and we surprise ourselves. Oh, I should do this more because it works. This actually works. So even setting an intention for the call today, calling in your higher self to be present and to receive, which is, there she is. So just taking a nice collective breath together. We'll just take 3 nice deep breaths and just ground. So breathing in through the nose, breathing all the way down into your belly, filling your lungs, filling your heart. Hold it and breathe out. And again, breathe in, filling your belly, filling your lungs. Hold it and breathe out. And once more, inhale your nose down into your belly, filling your diaphragm and your chest and your lungs and your heart. Hold it. Drop your shoulders and let it go. And here we are. And I'd love to go around the circle and share our wins. What would we like to share and plant that seed? Sharing our wins, our challenges, and what's your intention for this week?
Yeah, I'll go. You go, Stacey.
No, it's okay.
So, no major wins for this week or the last couple of weeks, because we had the holiday last week. So, but probably the challenge at the moment, I'm low on purchase orders. There's a lot of grant funding we're waiting on, so a lot of quotes are in limbo. So we could get a rush of it. So that's probably the challenge at the moment. But
how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? So there's the detail of the thing, but I want you to try and see, okay, well, that's the challenge, but that's the logical challenge, but how can that be a mirror, and how does that relate to how you feel and how you move forward?
Yeah, it doesn't upset me as much these days. I just because I've put the work into the quote, and because it's forces outside of my control that we're relying on. So I basically put it aside now. I do the follow up, and then if they say, "Look, we're still waiting," that's fine. So I put that aside and let it be its own path, and then I continue to work on to build behind that. So I mean, in intention wise, I do sit and visualize the creation of the purchase order coming to me. So I do that more through the work we do and other stuff. So I actually sit and visualize the purchase order coming to my email or to me. So that's creating that income, creating that sort of work. But basically, it's just continually to do the work that creates the possibility of the purchase order being created. So it's making sure that we can suit their requirements, that we are serving them to the best that we can, so that when they get that equipment, it'll allow them to do the best work they can in their lab. So
how can you take that? Because there was a lot of, it's out of my control, but I mean, so is many things in our life, but
yep.
what we control, right, is our intention, and what is your ideal outcome of that? So what is your ideal, okay, what's your ideal purchase orders coming in? What does that look like when you say, oh, it's already done, and you set the intention of, this is my targets and this is what I'm choosing to come in this month or this week? How can you be intentional? And I know you mentioned you visualize and you do a few processes. How can you, because your language is still saying out of my control and da 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 da, and obviously there are, we can't predict when things are coming in, and that's obvious, but how can you take back the control and go, okay, this is what's, being claiming that outcome, sending the intention that, well, it's already done, and then you're just letting it go and doing, you're taking the action that you need to do. So
yeah, I suppose the control wise, I've done everything I can to the point of giving them the quote, and then then they need to review it. They need to go to management. Then they need to put in their grant application, etc. So I suppose when I say it's out of my control, I cannot directly influence.
Yeah, I understand
who they're going to buy.
But I understand
sorry,
that.
yeah.
But what's the energy behind your, like, what, when you're coming into your day to day, what's the energy that you are feeling as you're hitting these challenges and you're looking at the numbers and you're noticing things aren't coming in? Well, how are you feeling in that moment?
Interesting that probably because I just go on to the next thing. So I feel that I've done everything I can to the point of submitting the quote. So then I just move on to the next thing that I need to get done, because my belief is, I mean, some people call the numbers game, that the more I keep filling the pot with the quotes, but I make sure that when the quote's given to the customer, I've done the work, we've talked to them, we've asked them the questions, we've identified their requirements. So the quote is presented to them for something that is optimum to them. So with the belief that I always have the belief that I'm going to get the purchase order. So because I've done everything. So I believe I'm going to get everything. I understand I won't, but the belief is there that I've done what I've needed to do to achieve the ideal outcome. But then, we leave it to the bean counters have got to make the decision on who gets it and how much money they want to spend. And because the other thing is, I sell premium products, so we're never the cheapest. So we have to sell holistically, as in we offer our service. Here's a quality product, it's going to last you a lot longer. Yes, you spend a bit more. So we frame the quote that if you're only going to look at price, we're not going to win it. But if you want service, if you want quality, if you want backup, we're always here. We're on the phone. So by presenting the package, we're giving ourselves the best chance to win
Right.
So that's the challenge. The wins is had my young fella, what's now a week and a half ago, Blaine turned 12 the other day. So I'm going to be the dad of a teenager next year. So that'll be another fun and games. And you can start to see the subtle changes as he's getting older. He's now getting more attitude. So it's also now that I need to work with that. So I love him to death. He had a great time. To get him on his birthday midweek was a real treat, because I don't normally get him midweek. So I took him out to dinner, and It's great. And the restaurant gave him a free banana split for his birthday. So we had a good night and a good day. So, and then some of the other wins is I've got a lot more training out of the way. So I've got scout training coming up as well. So so a lot of those modules out of the way, still working on digital marketing. So I'm achieving a lot more on the training side and the development side. So that's good.
Awesome. Great.
So that's me. Sorry, Amber.
What's your intention for this week?
This week, I've got a couple of modules to finish, scouts, because I've got training in 3 weeks. My intention is to, well, other being the best I can be this week, but is to progress my desired realities, what I've put in place to work, like through developing the other things. So I've already put down what I'm doing as in study wise. And then I'm doing a talk this week to a Toastmasters club because they want to know about Rotary. So, and then I'm in the process of transitioning roles. So I go to a district role next year for Interact or financial year. So I'm starting to work on the development of that. So it's getting different youth groups together. So, so yeah, busy, but move the needle. Definitely move the needle, Amber.
Brilliant. Love that. Love that. Living your best life. Love it. Thanks for sharing, Andrew.
All good.
Stacey, did you want to go?
Sure. I'm hiking a hill right now, so if I get breathy. I had a really good week learning some things about how to market better, and got to try it out on some new potential clients. And two of them came on board, and I have another that's thinking about it, and I'm going to meet her again tomorrow. So hopefully, I don't know, I'm just really happy that I've learned a new way to do it that can be more effective and pay better. So that's a win. I've been, of course, I have a senior who's finishing up school this year, and she had track meets all this weekend and last weekend, and those went well. And I just felt like I showed up well for her and for her friends. And I feel really good about just, sometimes it's hard when you're deep in where your thought and work to balance, being present. And I felt like I was able to really be present. And when I get into these slumps, I feel like I'm able to pull out a lot faster. So that's good. Sours, I still have slumps. But I think that's just life. And there've been a lot of things that have gone on, but so that I'm not happy about, but I really do feel like I've handled them well and gracefully, which could have been really kind of messy. So very grateful for that. But yeah, there have been sours as far as just life stuff. And just trying to navigate what I'm going to do with, narrowing down more of, I'm considering narrowing down and just niching down a little bit more on my ideal client. And I'll be talking with someone about that this week to see if that's really the route to go. And it feels like a sour, but it could be a sweet in the long run. So just navigating that feels like a sour. It's hard, but it's I think it's a good place. I feel like it's where I need to be. I think that's all I have.
Yeah, awesome reflection there. And yeah, like, I mean, life was always going to throw us curveballs and challenges and sours and all the time. And I love that you're able to recognize that and just lift yourself out of those slumps quicker, because that's what it's all about. That's what this work is about, is actually like allowing yourself to experience the lows, but moving through it and not resisting it, and allowing yourself to feel it if you need to feel it, the anger, the pain, the frustration, whatever it is. And, you know, sometimes you just need to sleep through it, give yourself more sleep or more, you know, I usually have a nap when I really need it, you know, like.
I slept till 11 o'clock this morning. I never do that, ever.
Needed it.
I'm always up at least, you know, latest by 8. So that was really unusual.
Yeah, well, your body obviously needed it, and you know, not feeling guilty around that, and just going, you know what, it is what it is. I needed that, and
yep.
And I love actually that the energy around moving and walking. I love that, you know, when I move, when I go take my dog for a walk, that's when my biggest intuition and downloads come, my ideas come, and it's like in using that physical movement to actually having an intention behind that to actually like help yourself process through a challenge or through something that you just need to move out of your body, move it. And that, you know,
and it's so bad. Sometimes it's so hard. It's like, you're just, I don't know if it's just sitting behind the computer. And it just totally, I don't know. It just like, what is the word? Just renders you completely energyless. And that's how I was feeling before. And I was like, I cannot stay in this. It's just it's gonna feel like picking up lead and walking. But I knew I needed it.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. And you know, like finding new ways of doing business and seeing what works and testing, you know, what feels good. And that's, you know, that you're having more conversations, more sales calls, more, you know, you're on that journey of discovering what works for you now, and especially with so much change, you know, and it's putting one foot in front of the other. Prioritizing your tasks, really important to prioritize, you know, what are the needle moving tasks, what can kind of be put on the side for now, and what needs to take my priority. A lot of the time in business we think we need a business card and we need a website and we need all of these little fluffy things, but actually it's just about having more conversations. Like I've found is when I'm out in the community and I'm meeting people and talking to people, that's when my business kind of comes alive, and you know, people come into my field because I'm having more conversations. I'm putting my light out there. I'm asking people in person, you know, I am the sales call, like, and connecting with other people. The more people that you connect with in the week, you know, the more conversations you can have. And if you've got that clarity on who you serve and what problem do you solve, then it's easy to just naturally funnel that into another call online, or sending them a video or test, or you know, that next piece to nurture them and build that trust. So yeah, having more conversations sounds great. So well done.
Thank you.
You're coming into summer now. It's like one of our coldest days for a while here in Australia, so it's nice to see.
sunshine.
Although we do
Not
have sunshine, blue skies in Brisbane, but it's old.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks for it's good to see you again, Stacey.
You too.
Amazing. Nikki, would you like to share your sweet and sours?
Yes. Good morning. Sorry, my video has been on and off, but I have been listening from near the beginning. I've got so many sweets this week. Yeah, so many. I wonder if I can remember them all. What I finally finding completion was shaken baby syndrome, and I went to do the one-page flyer that Amber had suggested a few weeks ago. And when I went to start creating it, I realized, but Nikki, you don't have an event or a time, or what are you actually offering? So I'm like, right, just choose one. So I prioritized my other things, chose a date that I know I'm not at my other job, and created this event. And I put that out on all the socials and on LinkedIn. I did a big invite. I've been collecting people. I've been connecting with people over the last year intentionally around health and child staff and midwives and all of that. So I did a big invite, and I've had nearly 160 people say they're coming. They haven't gone through to the link and registered, and because it's on Eventbrite, but it shows me that there is a lot of interest out there, because it's something people don't hardly talk about. But every 2 weeks in Australia, a baby dies from being shaken. So why aren't people talking about it? I've got goosebumps now. So that was a really big win. Yeah, I just feel like my intention and my passion to do that little project is on point. So now I've got to create the course, because I might have a lot of people that go through and register. And even if they don't, it's needed anyway. I'll find somewhere else. So that's a big win. Another win is, long story short, but I used to have this very strong belief that I was meant to work in France. This was years ago, and or live in France, and I let that dream go quite a lot of years ago. And I was at a conference recently that's around children being exploited and children being brought into the dark web. And yeah, as something I've always been passionate about is preventing child sexual exploitation. And a lady there was speaking, who she works in Interpol in France. She used to work for the Australian Interpol, and they are looking for people to go and work there. It's more of a police organisation, but I'm thinking surely they have non-police roles, and they're looking for ideas around training. They want to roll out training internationally. So I haven't been able to contact that person directly, but I have emailed Interpol in France, and it just rebirthed this, my passion in me, in this sense that years ago I felt the strong calling that I was meant to live in Europe, and particularly in France. So yeah, it rebirthed that, and that's pretty exciting. And I thought, because I just thought I just missed all these things in my life, and it made me realize that maybe these things just haven't been the right time, and the right time is still in front of me. So that was felt like a win in so many ways.
Wow.
I've written heaps of my chapter for Voices of Impact, and yeah, so there's other wins, but those are my biggest ones.
Wow, congratulations. That's awesome.
I just thought, now I've got this thing happening, and I'm like, if I could find a way, if I could work in France for a year, I can achieve every dream that is mine. I can go to Cyprus, I can go to Spain, I can go to Portugal, I can go to Croatia. Those are all my key places that I've had dreams about. I have family that live in Germany, but I just don't know who they are or where to find them. My mum's family was from Poland. Will have access to every single place I feel connected to and want to go to. Um, yeah, and I thought I could actually do that all in a year.
Wow.
Just weekends, weekend getaways to amazing places. So that idea is very, very exciting for me, and yeah, maybe it could become a reality.
I love that. I love that. And what's really interesting about when you start to do this work and you start to choose the life that you love and you start to set those intentions and where you put your energy, and you create just that momentum of, you know, living on purpose and living consciously. Sometimes the end result isn't exactly what will manifest. It's just this pinpoint for the momentum to gain, for you to like get momentum and see opportunities and allow the opportunities to come to you. So when we just set up this structure, as you've been doing now for over a year, when you're in the creative structure, you allow like past dreams and all of these other things that aren't necessarily in your choices list, but you allow all of those things to kind of flow, and you become a magnet to your deepest, darkest desires, right? So the momentum of getting into that creative structure is what attracts you to what you truly desire, because this gets in the way and says, oh yeah, but I don't know how to, you know, become fun, you know, I don't want to leave my job and this and this and this. And we actually do limit ourselves into the possibilities of what we truly want. And even, you know, consciously and unconsciously. And so when even just the act of setting up the structure and going through the 5 steps, that just creates so much magnetism to what you truly, truly love, that in your conscious mind doesn't even know, but your heart does. And so you'll start to lead with love, and you'll start to connect into your intuition and know, you know, become that magnet to what your heart truly, truly desires. And then it comes into the field and it drops in and you recognize it. And you're like, oh yeah, because if that happened like a year ago, perhaps it's not something you would have even considered possible for you, or, you know, something could have got in your way, but you've developed yourself to the point where you are now, where you're ready for it to just land in your lap, you know, and that divine timing comes into play. And yeah, that's just what kind of came up as you were speaking. I was like, oh yeah, it's starting to move. Your unconscious, your heart's desires is starting to kind of come and move and develop in your life and bring you, you know, your complete magnetism. You're holding that magnetism and reverence life. So loving that.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what it feels like. Yeah, a whole pile of things were going through my mind as you were speaking, and now they're gone, but I know they're still there. Yeah. And even because I really wanted to go to Bali this year just for fun, and an opportunity came up. Someone said, well, you can come with us if you like. So I said, okay, and booked the flights right there and then. And it's Christmas time, first time in my life I've ever ditched my family. And that felt a bit weird. But what's happened now is like, oh, I could actually go to France now, you know, and because I did feel like I could never leave my family. I felt like that would make me a bad mother, that would, you know, like I couldn't do it. And then my daughter's got all these little kids and they would really miss me and I'd miss them. But even just saying yes to that short 8-day trip in Bali, something in me changed. And I'm like, well, I could go. Yeah. So even that was like, yeah,
Love that.
yeah. So I'm so excited. And I remember a year ago when you said to me, what do you love? Like, what do you want? And I was finding it really hard. But this is my number one deep passion that I had let go. That's just been rebirthed. I've, yeah, I just belong in Europe. I just know it.
Love that. Europe's an amazing place.
Yes.
Mm.
My challenge this week, and I'm not surprised you've touched on it, Amber, is just it's not really a challenge. I'm reflecting on because I've been going to conferences by myself, not the last one I went with work, but and speaking, when I go to places by myself, I go with this intention to connect with new people, to put myself out there, to say hello, to, be interested in others. And I've noticed that when I go to events and things where I know people, I get into that comfort zone and don't branch out. But one of my intentions this year has been to make new connections. And yeah, so I'm just noticing that where I slip into comfort rather than I can be in that comfort and still create new connections as well. So it's just a little reflection.
Yeah, interesting you brought that up because that's I was feeling that as well on Wednesday night. That's why at the end I was like, oh, I'm going to go speak to the speakers and make some connections because it's easy to be comfortable at a networking event when you know people there that you haven't connected with for a while as well. So, but that was yeah, that interesting. Yeah, I mean, we're very connected, so I'm not surprised you brought that up.
And I was thinking that on Wednesday night too.
Yeah. Amazing. So thank you for sharing, and so happy for you that you're really connecting into your heart and recognizing that. And anyone on the replay, I'd like you to just pause the video now and just write down your sweet and sours, your wins, your challenges, and just sit with them and reflect and just see how they how you can bring your intention in for this week coming. So we'll just take a few minutes to step into the superconscious and close down the circle and step into the week. So closing your eyes down and just taking a few breaths, just allowing yourself to relax and just let everything go. Just taking a breath, leading with love, leading your breath through your body, all the way down into your belly, into your lungs and your heart and your head, and letting it go and just completely relaxing in this moment, taking this opportunity to really connect into yourself, connect into your physical body, feeling your bum on the seat and noticing the temperature, or just being present with your physical body. And with that same breath, connecting into your emotional body. Notice how the emotion turns up for you. Notice any tension or feelings in your body that might feel a bit tense, or you might feel just completely relaxed. And with the next breath, connecting into your spiritual body, finding your spirit, feeling spirit within you, every inch of your body and outside of you. Feeling that consciousness that directs this physical body and this emotional body. And just taking your breath and become in complete harmony with your physical, emotional, and spiritual body. With your next breath, just imagine white light energy pouring into the crown of your head. And just with every breath, you're sending this light to every cell in your body. Sending this light energy to your auric field that surrounds you. And sending this light to your heart and the field, your heart field, that is 3 feet at least outside of you. Just want you to connect into your heart. If you can feel your heartbeat or just know it's there, connecting into your heart now. Sending gratitude to yourself. Gratitude to every version of yourself that got you to this point. Sending gratitude to every decision that you made, every choice, every action that led you to this point in time right now. And I want you to send gratitude to your future self, your future choices, connecting into all the things that you have manifested and manifesting. All the versions of you on different dimensions that are yet to materialize. And just sending gratitude to the present moment, the present version of you. And just connecting into the choice of living your true nature and purpose. Your true nature is this creator, this spirit source. And your purpose is to create your life, express your heart's desires. Say yes to your life, living your life that you love. Say yes to your heart. Say yes to the experiences. Say yes to growth. And I invite you to step into the highest version of yourself. From your heart space, truly live and breathe them. What would they do? How would they be? What are some little things that perhaps need to change to hold yourself to your highest standard? Just putting a little smile on your face, feeling gratitude. If there's anything that you would like to choose to step into right now, taking one of your choices, your intentions for this week, and just step into that experience now. Allow yourself to experience this end result right now. What does it feel like to be walking in the shoes of the person who has achieved this goal, this choice, living and breathing the air that they breathe right now, having achieved this choice? What temperature is it? What's the weather like? Where are you? What location are you? Who's around you? Are you seeing this in black or in color, black and white or in color? Just notice how it shows up for you. See this as truth. Fully immerse yourself in this experience, choosing this end result and just living and breathing it right now. And just with your next breath, just closing off and finishing up this imagination, this connection, this being, this vision. I'm going to slowly bring you back, thanking your future self for bringing you the images and the intuition. And just placing that in your timeline exactly where it needs to be. And just seeing it there, placed in your timeline, and rise above your timeline, bringing yourself all the way back to now in this current state. So be it, so it is, I now bear witness. Just returning safely back into your body, back into your legs and your toes and your arms and your torso, all the way back, taking a nice deep breath, returning to your body, coming back to the call, opening your eyes. Welcome back. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Sorry, Stacey, I had my eyes closed. I was in a meditation. You'll have to watch the replay.
That's okay, no problem.
But just closing the circle now. Are there any other is there any comments that you'd like that came up through that experience that you'd like to share?
Always.
I can see you bursting.
I I saw this vision of like a crystal ball, and it was like sometimes we want to know our future. We want to see what our future is going to look like. Um, as kind of a way of then creating it or stepping into it. But it was like, but in contrast, and then I felt like my whole heart was outside my body and just pumping one with the universe. And it was a message of like, as when we step into our heart space, we step into our future. We don't need that crystal ball kind of concept. So, yeah.
Love that.
I'm covered in goosebumps.
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of documentaries from the Heart Math Institute recently, and how big our heart field is, and that's why, you know, as you know, if you're an empath, you feel people straight away, and you can pick up the energy of the people around you, because our heart field it actually is quite far out, and everyone's different, but it's about 3 feet at least outside of us. So like understanding how to tap into that energy and recognize when you get those emotions, that there's the communication tool, and when something pops into your field, you can feel it there in that massive heart field. It's our main brain. There's more information that comes from our heart to our brain than our brain to our heart. So it's actually like there's more movement there. So powerful tool for your intuition. Yeah, beautiful. And another thing that came up from the breath work on the weekend was the word lead with love. Like leading with love. Take every opportunity to lead with love, to release any judgment, and to really see how can I, lead with love. How can I be understanding and compassionate, and lead with from that space. And that's when we move out of reaction and into being the creator, when it is all it is love. And how can we bring more of that into our life? So yeah, beautiful. Thanks for sharing, Nikki. Amazing. Well, if there's no more shares, I'd love to close this beautiful space, and enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next week. Beautiful.
Thank you.
See you all.
Bye.
Bye, guys. See you later.